Welcome to Kick 'em in the Head, a podcast that takes an inside look at the world of mixed martial arts, featuring interviews with some of the top fighters from South Africa and around the world, with a focus on the EFC and UFC promotions. I'm your host, Yaw. Join us as we delve deep into the techniques, strategies, and mindsets of these world-class athletes, learning from their experiences and gaining insights into what it takes to succeed in the toughest sport on earth.
Shaheed.
Yow, my man.
How are you today?
Hey, man. When we in studio, the vibe is always good. So I'm feeling it. I'm enjoying myself here, man.
Although today you're a bit of a blobbish sort of Venom type character.
Well, it depends. Hopefully, Lou can help me with the cutout here, man. In a couple of interviews, if it's not like that now, it's because of the interviews I was like being sucked in. Okay, if it is happening now, I don't know.
Sucked in, and right now I'm sucked into the card we have coming this Saturday. Fiziev versus Gamrot. Rafael Fiziev, Ataman versus Mateusz Gamrot.
Rafael is a wild man, and Gamrot is an upcoming star. So this is one of those fight nights where you don't expect it to be fire, but I've got a feeling that this is going to be a fire fight night, man.
They call it a sleeper card.
Wait. It definitely is. Definitely is, because it's going to knock you out and put you to sleep. That's how good it's going to be. It'll probably kick you in the head.
So going through the card, I think the fights that we singled out is obviously we have a female fight, Marina Rodriguez versus Michelle Waterson Gomez.
The karate hottie, man. Everybody loves Waterson. Everybody loves Waterson, and she is probably one of, as a female fighter, she's extremely polarizing. She's extremely entertaining to watch in the build up to the fights. Her previous fights,
she beat Amanda Lemos,
yes,
who just went on to
fight for the title
against Zhang Weili, and obviously was dominated. So that's interesting.
So it does make. It would be nice to see her.
So she lost
win.
Amanda Lemos. Apologies.
It would be nice to see her get that second win. I think she has fought Rodriguez before. This is their second outing. She did beat her before. Hopefully she can get back into the winning momentum and beat her again, and maybe go for the title. She is kind of a gatekeeper at the moment, so it would be lovely to see the karate hottie do some hot karate, man.
It would be. Bryce Mitchell
is
back.
Way Thug Nasty, baby.
After, in my opinion at least, that shocking loss to Topuria. Topuria is excellent. He's phenomenal, but I just didn't expect him to do what he did against Mitchell, because Mitchell is a skill fighter.
Mitchell is a skill fighter, but he is, as we've seen, a wild card. Everybody expected him to do really badly, and he did really well. And it's almost like everybody expected him to do really well, and he kind of fell off the rails there. So he does call himself the cash cow of the UFC. He is, people seem to think he's fool's gold, but he knows he's real gold. And he is the only fighter to get his custom-made shorts in the UFC. His, what is it, the camo shorts, man. And second fighter in the UFC to do the twister. One of the most convincing wins over Edson Barboza that we've seen in a while. We know Edson's been in a skid, but it was convincing. He is a star to watch. Ilya was, wow, apparently he's the new flavor. This happens in MMA all the time. And he is the new flavor. He's the hot sauce we're putting on our flavor. He's the hot sauce we're putting on our burger tonight. You know what I'm saying? But Bryce Mitchell, Thug Nasty, is always somebody to watch. Can I ask you a question quick?
Yes.
How do you think that fight goes? Dan Ige.
We didn't even talk about Ige, which means like Mitchell, clearly.
No, for real. But are you feeling Mitchell?
I'm feeling Mitchell. Look, Dan Ige's obviously got the skill, the talent. He's currently sitting on 17-6. Mitchell sitting on 15-2, but I think after Mitchell's loss, I think that might have just put everything into perspective, especially with how he lost. So I think that's got him in the mindset of, I'm going to go out and make sure that I come back the right way. So for that reason, I think his preparation is going to be on another level. He's had enough time, full camp and everything. So I think Mitchell on this one.
Have you been watching his content on Instagram?
I've been watching his YouTube rap videos.
Wow, man, I haven't seen his rap videos
Doug
yet.
Nasty, please, you gotta drop that album.
Yo, it'll be heat, man. We'll play it. We'll play it in the background.
Be the intro to the podcast now.
Yeah. Wow.
Bryce, please.
Maybe just for this episode. I think that'll be awesome. But we have to go into the main event now. The Wild Man.
Ataman.
Hey, yeah.
Rafael Fiziev.
And Gamrot. So now between these two guys, I hope the lightweight division is always an exciting division. After Khabib, after Conor, after Dustin, after
That's
Justin.
what the BMF title is. Let's be realistic.
I was like, after all these guys that pile into this division, because it's like the average weight of like everybody in the world or something like that, we forget how good these other fighters are. Fiziev is probably one of the most entertaining social media fighters like I've seen in a while, aside from Pablo Costa. Pablo. Sorry, Paulo. I don't know why I'm mixing up with Pablo.
Borrachinhas. Call him Borrachinhas.
Borrachinhas. Your secret juice.
I want some secret juice.
And this lightweight division is so stacked. I also want some secret juice, by the way.
I think we'll have some secret juice for the next episode.
Yeah,
I'm
baby.
going to speak to Pop Soda for some of that secret juice.
Ooh, yes. Guys, we're speaking in tongues right now, but you're going to understand what we be saying. Like, share, subscribe, comment. What should y'all wear for the next episode? Comment!
Something nice, please. But we've got number 6 taking on number 7. I think if I look at it, Fiziev has to come back strong. His loss to Gaethje could derail. I wouldn't call him a hype train. He's a skilled fighter. But like you said, it's a very stacked division. And now he's sitting on 12-2, fighting Mateusz Gamrot, who's sitting on 22-2. So if you look at the experience, he's going up against someone who's very experienced. So as much as you've said all the things about him, this is a real fight to watch, because this really dictates who's coming up next. Once you've got your Dustin Poirier's, well, Justin's still up there, not necessarily being in their prime, you have to then have other fighters coming in. I think this really then would tell us who's coming next.
Exactly. And unfortunately, we've got this unstoppable force as the champion right now in Islam. We're going to see Islam versus Charles. I'm dyeing my hair blonde. We're going so hard for that one, guys, because I believe if Charles wins, it'll create a huge uproar in the lightweight division, which will breathe new life into the division. That way, people like Gamrot, people like Fiziev can come up and really be known and be seen as how skilled they are in the division they are. Yes. What are they ranked at the moment? What's
6 and 7. So he had to go down because he just lost. So now Fiziev is 6, Mateusz Gamrot is 7.
I think in maybe any other division they'd be a little bit higher. Because they are in the lightweight division, these guys are extremely skilled. Fiziev is an awesome striker. Gamrot, if I'm not mistaken, has dirty, dangerous kicks. So this is going to be a strike fest. Hopefully, we might even get a head kick. So this is definitely one to watch. I think it's going to be electrifying, man.
Electrifying. And I think something that's been electrifying recently, definitely on the socials, on Instagram, is some very spicy comments coming out from the EFC, specifically in the bantam and flyweight divisions.
Yo, guys, again, I need to tell you guys to just jump on all the socials. Jump on the Twitter, jump on the Instagram, jump on Facebook. The Audible, jump on the Facebook, YouTube. Jump on the YouTube, on everywhere. Because you can't miss what is happening. The spice, guys, on our very own Instagram post. So all of a sudden, guys, we're seeing, Yeah, can you just? I don't even think
You've
I can
lost the words
express
for it.
myself. Tell us what is happening in the bantamweight division of the EFC.
We've got the current champion, Nkazumulo Zulu, who was said to have vacated the title, who then said he did not vacate the title, and that the upcoming title fight between Musa Bad News Setwape and Shannon Terra Bantonda is an interim title fight. Mind you, it was a title fight until he made the comment on our page that he's actually still around and he still has the title, and now suddenly it's an interim title fight. So it's very interesting to see how the flyweight and bantamweight divisions are moving. And I throw flyweight in there because Nkazumulo Zulu has been speaking down to a lower division in the flyweight division, speaking to the current champion, Gift Walker, saying that he's coming for that title. And that's apparently why he has been deemed to have vacated the title. Because a press statement from the EFC, there's a lot of information,
Give it.
said that he had vacated the title because he wasn't taking on any opponents. Musa Badmi Sotwape said that he vacated the title at the press conference after beating him.
We just had an interview with Musa, guys. That's where that
You
information
definitely
comes
have to
from.
watch that interview.
Straight from the horse's mouth, straight from Musa. Please go on. Yeah.
So if we look at all the information around what's happening with the current bantamweight title fight between Musa and Bantonda, there's a lot of misinformation happening. We're not sure what's really happening. Everyone is saying something different. So it's quite interesting to see how it's going to go.
I think we need to strip it back to the facts. The facts is that Musa has said. The facts is that the champion of the bantamweight division is Nkazumulo Zulu. King Shaga himself. Hopefully we're going to get our interview right with this man, because technical difficulties blew my brain. Crunch. Yo, guys, hopefully you get some bloopers. It's going to be so funny. Oh, my word. But King Shaka is the champion. We've got two contenders now for an interim bantamweight championship, who are Terra Shannon Fantonda and Musa Bad News Setwape. We've had conversations with Musa, and we've had awesome conversations. We've had an awesome conversation, unfortunately, never to be seen, conversation with King Shaka, off the record conversation with King Shaka. And in both, they've both said the same thing. Zulu's the champion, they're coming for the interim title, and all we can do as people is reel from Zulu just being Zulu and going, like, basically just like raining on everybody's parade here. Because Musa and Shannon, I'm very sure, are very keen to be the champion and not have to go fight again to be the champion and unify and all these interim title situations, which always become like convoluted and you know what I mean? So
it's going to be quite interesting to see how matchmaker Graham Carmel looks at it, because if we listen to his comments at the last post-match press conference, after Gift then called out Tumelo Manyamala very randomly, he's like, well, this definitely poses a matchmaking problem, but we'll figure it out. So I think we definitely have to speak to Graham about this to see what his thoughts are around how all of this is going to fit together.
That's the perfect way to go. Go to the man himself and see what he is saying.
Graham, we want to hear what you have to say about the bantamweight division and the flyweight division. Where is it going?
I'm sure, like Gift said, it's giving him gray hairs, bruh. Yo. But it is spicy, and that's what we love to see.
UFC flyweight division. We've been talking about Gift the Daywalker, the current champion. How do you see that linked to the current UFC flyweight division and exactly what's happening in there?
Wow. I'm so happy we're speaking about this now, because I've been seeing this gap for like a while, right? We're seeing in the last, in Israel's pay-per-view fight, we had Kape versus Dos Santos, right? Yes. So Dos Santos is essentially an unknown UFC flyweight fighter. That means that there's a gap for flyweight fighters in the UFC. We have pedigree in the flyweight division. Nkazimono Zulu, Gift the Day Walker, Terence Balelo, to name a few. And that's not even delving deep into the pool of talent that we have.
That's quite interesting because, yes, Felipe had a record of 7-0, and he was going up in his debut against the number 10.
Exactly. So there must be a huge gap in the flyweight division in the UFC. And I'm saying that the guys that we have here, Gift Walker, can, I'm not saying easily, but he can be in there with those guys. He can rank with those guys. Terence Palelo can rank with them. And even in Ntando Zondi.
Yes.
Ntando Zondi, as an amateur coming up, feeling his way through the ranks and hopefully coming into the EFC very soon, could even be there with them. Nkazi Monozulu is well on his way to becoming an EFC patron because he is with the team CIT now, that have 2 fighters already in the UFC, 1 bantam, 1 middle. We can definitely add a flyweight. And he's been saying, this is why this whole controversy is coming. He's saying he's a flyweight. He's not a bantam. And he took the bantamweight title fight on a whim, and he won.
Because they asked him to take it, he took it, and
so that's the narrative that we're not actually seeing. And I think that it's beautiful to see how strong a flyweight he is, and that he always wants to maintain and get back his title, his original title.
How do you think being champ will impact his career?
Hopefully it propels him to the greatest of heights. And if it propels him to the greatest of heights, it propels the EFC into the stratosphere. Because that's 3 very noticeable names in the UFC. And there's a lot more out in the other promotions, such as Don Madge in the PFL and BK Little Giant in One Championship, who is actually the number 1 contender for the flyweight champion. Again, flyweights.
Going back to Gift, the current champion, do you think that the gym or camp that they're in has a bearing, or what impact do you think being at, say, House of Tinkerbell would have versus being at Team CIT in terms of the international prospects? Because as you've said numerous times about Nkazumulo, having gone to CIT, he's gotten 1 title, going back to reclaim his old title. How does the gym impact that?
Do you know what? I think the gym only impacts an experience. King Shaka gets to train with MSP. MSP is a bantamweight contender in the UFC. That propels his experience, propels his thinking about fights to a different level. And then you have Drickus, who is analyzing on the sidelines, watching these 2 smaller guys go at it, helping him to adjust his game. He did say in our conversation that Cameron has propelled his wrestling game to infinitely high heights. And that is what we saw against him and Musa. That's what we saw against him and Musa. And if he's doing that in an upper division, can you imagine what he will do in a flyweight division? So I just see this huge gap in the flyweights, and I just think that our guys can just come in and really do something awesome there.
They, Team CIT, which seems to be a topic today, currently also have the welterweight title with Mark Hume. On the other side of the pond, we have at the UFC, the current welterweight division the welterweight division, we've got Kobe coming up against Leon in November. That's also another division that has opened up since Kamaru lost twice. It's one of the most difficult divisions, but there's also a chance there. What's happening in the UFC welterweight division between Kobe and Leon?
In the welterweight division, Gino, I see a lot of remnants of everybody not knowing where to go, because Camaro was a very active champion
And dominant.
He was
didn't just
dominant and he was active, like fighting. And he was always in it. He was, if you didn't like him, you liked him. Because if you, the way it works in MMA, I believe, is that even if you don't like a fighter, and if you're tuning in to watch his fights, you're a fan. Whether you're there to watch him lose, like a lot of people want to watch Conor McGregor lose, or if you're there to watch him win all the time. Kamaru Usman was polarizing. He was so flashy. I loved his style, even against somebody as a big personality like Masvidal. He held his own, man, and that showed that everything that everybody ever said about him was completely and utterly wrong. He is a star. He is entertaining. He is not boring in the least. He is highlight material. And unfortunately, I think the division is suffering from that waywardness of not having a strong divisional leader. Leon is a good champion and he's a strong champion, but he's not active enough. I'm not feeling it.
You talk about divisional leaders. We have the 3 horsemen in this instance of the apocalypse. So if Colby wins this fight, it would be what I think MMA Twitter was not dreaming about, but we were laughing at it. We thought it was just memes at that point in time. But now we're 2 of 3. We've got the era of Sean that has started with Sean O'Malley and Sean Strickland winning their title fights. And now the 3rd horseman in this wonderful little MMA apocalypse is Colby Covington.
Yo!
What happens when that happens? Because like you've been saying, we need a dominant leader in the welterweight division. What happens if Colby wins?
This is Colby's 3rd time fighting for the title. Hopefully, if he gets knocked out one more time, he can go retire and become a WWE star in TKO. Because he will ignite TKO on fight. He
could be the poster boy. He's perfect.
He is. He's brilliant. He's loudmouth. He can actually wrestle. He's polarizing. People want to watch him lose. People want to watch him win. People want to watch him. People want to watch him. Period. It's the 3rd time he's fought for the title. This is the only time where I think he's got the most legitimate chance to win and actually be a champion. Because of that, I think Leon's going to knock him out. Because out of the 3 fights you've spoken about, the biggest denominator in all 3 of them was they looked completely uncompetitive. This fight looks extremely competitive, even leaning towards more Colby. Because Colby is a wrestler. Colby is in your face and he's tough. The toughness he showed against Usman in both fights was insane. I don't like Colby Covington, but I respect the hell out of him that he came in there to die. That's the way you do MMA. And that's the way, even if you don't like him, you like him because he is a consummate flippin' warrior.
So, yes, he lost twice to Marty Fake Newsman. As he calls Kamaru Usman because he loves nicknames. But like you said, he's willing to go in there and die. Right now, light heavyweight division, we can say they're all...
Welterweight? Where are we talking about?
Light heavyweight division.
We were moving into the light heavyweight division now. Okay,
so if you look at the light heavyweight division,
moving on to
with all the injuries that are there,
yes,
can we really say that any of them are there to die? Because they keep on getting injured before they're ready to die. Jimmy had to vacate. Jamal had to vacate. I'm just saying, like, right now, the light heavyweight division is just not really creating the athletes that are showing the death. It's more verbal death. Yeah. With all due respect to them, it's just the inconsistency of light heavyweight division since John Jones basically vacated the title. So how do we see all of this playing together with Johnny Walker in the mix? We've got Yuri Prohaska. We've got Alex the Boogeyman Pereira, Poatan. How do you see that division going?
It's a mess, man. It's a flippin' dirty mess. And it's because John Jones has left. Out of the 2 divisions, the biggest similarity is strong, active champion. John Jones wasn't that active in the light heavyweight division for a while but after he left, there was this breakdown. I mean, there was that Dominic Cruz? What was his name? Dominic Reyes. I'm saying Dominic Cruz is
Bantam.
Dominic Reyes. Yeah, I love the way his foot. There's a whole different conversation. Sorry.
We'll talk about him and Cody Garbrandt in future.
Yo. Wow, we need to go in depth into the history of MMA. That is beautiful. That fight after Dominic Reyes looked like he was dominant over John Jones and rocked him a couple of times. Everybody went on so much about that fight. Where's Dominic now? I don't think he was, and unfortunately will be, a champion in the UFC ever.
Is he even still in the UFC? He hasn't fought in like...
He is still in the UFC. And the reason I bring him up in the light heavyweight conversation is because he is the one that truly and honestly started this whole mishmash of whatever is going on in this division. Because everybody was like, oh, John. And then John was like, okay, fine, I'll just leave you guys here with this. I'll just leave you. I'll go gain weight and I'll go dominate another division. And we'll see how your division pan out. And how is it panning out?
It had the oldest winner of a UFC title. Let's start there in Glover Teixeira. I mean, it's panning out different.
Extremely different. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing.
You had a title fight that was a draw in Ankalaev for a vacant title between Ankalaev and Blachowicz. It's a lot of mess, like you said.
Exactly. And this, I will always think, is because everybody's goating for this title. Everybody's saying, I want the title, I want the title. And then you get somebody like Alex Pereira walking in. And that really disturbs the division.
Well, like storming in.
Exactly, because now he is and could be the dominant force that the light heavyweight division needs, so everybody can angle in the correct direction. Because we're all pulling away and we're saying, no, I deserve it, I deserve this, I deserve it. But nobody's showing they deserve it. And we're having these lackluster fights where you think, okay, even Alex versus Blachowicz, it was a bit of a, you know what I mean? So hopefully Yuri and Alex really pull it out for that title fight. After that, I do think it is time. It's that time.
It's definitely that time for...
Fighter of the Week. It's time!
Baby. And I usually make you go first, but I think you might not be too happy, but I'm going to go first.
It's been a contentious week, guys.
Yes. But I think my fight of the week, and full disclosure, I did eavesdrop on a very private conversation. That was highly public. But my fight of the week is definitely Sean Strickland.
Yes.
I think seeing his media engagement and interactions, and basically, I wouldn't say being true to who Sean Strickland is, but seeing the champion version of what Sean Strickland is very interesting. It's more wholesome than you'd expect. You'd expect it to be dirty, potty mouth, and crappy, even though he did break his belt and just put some duct tape. It's okay, fine, Sean Strickland. But I think just how he's come out as the champion, how he's been more inspirational and motivational than anything else has just been phenomenal to watch. So for me, Sean Strickland.
That is actually beautiful. And for me, I was the person having that private conversation, and Yaw did steal my fighter of the week. For anybody that actually figured that out, he stole my fighter of the week, and it was for all those beautiful reasons. But now, my fighter of the week is actually, I had somebody in my mind. I was about to say their name. It was beautiful. Oh, this is such a tough one, man. There's so many awesome fighters, so many awesome things happening. But since you stole my fighter, I'm going to go with a fighter that was robbed. Valentina Shevchenko. I adore you. I think you're lovely. I'd love to go out on a date with you sometime. That aside, I think that you're awesome. The way she handled herself after after something that seemed a bit suspect to a lot of people watching that fight. I mean, a 10-8 round is basically, I don't know, it's basically unheard of. The way she handled herself like a champion. And I think just talking in this championship talk that we've been in the spirit of Sean Strickland and all the champions we've spoken about, Valentina just showing how and why she's a role model and a champion of the upcoming fighters and the upcoming female fighters. I mean, for Ntando Zondi to even say that she is one of his favorite fighters just shows how she transcends. You don't have to be like, her striking ability is amazing, and the way she conducts herself as a champion is amazing. And I can't wait for her to see her have gold again.
Mm-hmm. I think it's definitely a championship favorite this week. I love that, and exactly like you said, she carries herself with aplomb.
Yeah, love it.
But speaking of future fights,
Yo, championship fights again here.
I mean, this has been a championship episode, right?
Guys, yo.
Comment, like, subscribe for more championship conversations. I had a dream.
Nice. Yo! I had a dream. But not like a Martin Luther King dream.
About
Yes,
Yes, Musa, I had a dream about you, and knock on wood, I'm not wishing this on you, but I had a dream that your bout got cancelled for some strange reason, and it was due to some injury. So once again, I'm touching all the wood I possibly can. I'm not wishing that on you, but it made me think about the impact of injuries on, and most specifically in general, but specifically on title fights.
Yo, injuries are the plague of fights. Injuries, do you know, like that prior injury situation before a fight? Like, fighter had to pull out because of injury. The most famous injury situation is that the Tony Ferguson Khabib pull out star situation. For anybody that knows what I refer to, please comment in the below. Nothing dirty. I mean, pulling out of fights, guys. So both of them were injured multiple times. I think that fight got cancelled 5 times.
Wow.
So, and rebooked 5 times. And unfortunately, they never fought. But injury plagued that fight. I mean, Khabib got injured, Tony got injured, and then Tony got injured again, and then it was COVID, I think. So, especially on anticipated fights. I mean, obviously, title fights is the worst, but like anticipated fights. Speaking of, that's how Strickland got his title shot. It was supposed to be Dricus.
The
Injured
toe,
foot?
which Chael Sonnen is apparently accusing, no, not apparently, he is accusing Dricus of ducking the fight and not really being injured because apparently some medical reports show that Dricus wasn't actually injured post-fight.
Yo, we've actually got that video. We've got that video, guys. We're gonna be posting it soon, and we're gonna love to hear comments. We're gonna love to hear what you guys think. Is Chael just being horrible and nasty
And sensationalist?
or sensationalist? Or I just don't want to say anything bad about Chael Sonnen on the internet because
no.
Chael,
The special one of MMA.
Chael, the American gangster Sonnen, is the original bad guy. He's never lost a round and never says anything bad whatsoever. Dricus du Plessis, obviously being closer to me in my country and obviously
More likely to get to you.
more likely like we didn't
See you at an EFC event.
You'd see me. I don't know. I want to know what's going on, Dricus. I just want to ask what's going on. Okay.
So that's quite true. It did recently impact, and that's exactly how Sean, the new Tarzan champion of the EFC middleweight division, got his shot. But now also we spoke about the light heavyweight division. That's what has also recently plagued the heavyweight division, is injuries. If we look at Yuri vacating, Jamal vacating, and now we have a vacant light heavyweight title. So it happens quite often in MMA where you have these fights that just dissolve due to injury.
And that's unfortunately when you're playing when you are a professional in a sport such as this, it is so hard to make yourself to protect yourself from injury. And then we've got a long-awaited fighter that we have just been wanting to see in the EFC. Back again, return.
Luke Michael,
The champion!
young gun himself.
Yeah.
Speaking of injuries, that's what's kept him out of the title fight and why they had an interim title fight between JP Kruger and Conrad Siabi. And now JP is obviously the interim title. But yes, looking forward to having Luke come back. He's recently opened a PI, a Performance Institute in Cape Town, to help him with his injuries and to help him get back to being a champion. That's so interesting.
It's amazing to see a fighter that's come having a dream of being a champion, fulfill that dream, and basically open up a place where he can teach other young fighters and other young fighters in Cape Town to have the same dream and that they're allowed to have that dream. I think it's really inspirational to see somebody that's being a fighter that nobody knew, to being a champion, to being able to create that dream for others.
I agree. And where he's placed the PI, where the PI is located in Party Island in Cape Town, is very central to getting a lot of the people who would need access to something, to a facility of that type. And if you look at the pedigree that's now coming out of Cape Town, we've got Faiz Jacobs, Terence Bolello. There seems to be a lot of fight pedigree that's now coming out of Cape Town. So it's amazing to see the current EFC middleweight champion adding to the skill sets and to the skill base that would be coming out of Cape Town.
Yeah, and just giving back.
And giving back.
Always lovely to see people giving back.
Luke, amazing. Keep on going. The PI, looking forward to seeing more. We're definitely going to come visit you, and one of us is going to spar with you, whoever is going to be middleweight at that time. And we'll see.
We'll see. We'll have fun. We'll have fun with it. Don't worry. Thank you, Lukey.
And I think when he comes back, I know his favorite move is the triangle. That's his favorite finishing move. Luke Michael, yes.
But what? How do you think he's gonna finish? If he could finish the fight with JP, how do you think he'd finish it?
As much as it's not his forte, I think he'd probably
Kick him in the head!
Hi everyone, this is Yaw.
And Shahid.
Please like and subscribe to the Kick Him in the Head podcast, the podcast that puts shin to skull with thought-provoking conversations and no-hold-bars opinions.
And if you're looking for a way to support the podcast, sponsorships are always welcome to keep the channel going and to help us promote your favorite fighters. Contact us on headkickpod on all social media platforms to learn more. Thank you.
Kick him in the